Okay, so Matt and I just checked a camera that we had extra and threw out by our bail blind that really we kind of set up for gun season to be able to hunt this field on a south wind. And it's not too far off from that set that we call kind of an observation set that we filmed Hugh in a couple weeks ago. We know he's coming through this field to get down to where we've seen him the last two nights. And we were real curious about what that was going to look like, that camera. Well, 2 nights ago, he was probably 40 yards out from that bail blind that we set that same day. So he's for sure, we're still confirming he's bedding to our east here. Now we're just struggling. We've got a set, that observation set we've talked about, where they walk right down that fence line and give you about a 30, 40 yard shot. It's a perfect win for that. And those cameras are showing that he didn't do that last night, but he did it 2 nights ago. Last night he had to still come through this field and probably walked, maybe cut the middle or something, didn't get close to that camera, but either way he had to go through there to get down where we saw him last night. So we're still knowing or believing he's over bedded up in that big timber. We're gonna go throw this setup in the same spot we were thinking about. And then it's just us racking our brains and maybe trying not to overthink it, keep it simple, stupid, but I don't exactly know what to do now after looking at that camera. So, I don't know. We're going to get this set hung and probably go back and forth on it 50 different times. Matt will tell me he doesn't know and whatever I think. And then I'll get mad at him and ask him what he thinks. And then ultimately we'll make a decision and push forward with it. So priority right now is get this set up and then sweat these details here for a little while. Okay, so just as anticipated, we came down in here, walked around for a while, and we did get in an argument, and then make up and tell each other sorry, but that's about the norm. But we picked this tree, and it has some faults, it's got some positives. So we're going to hope for the best. I mean, we know he's going to come out into this field here with the does. The wind should be okay for us. It swirls the further south you go in here. We tested for quite a while, but right in here, I think we're just far enough north of this bend that wind gets a little more true and either pushes back up onto that big timber or it's going to follow this line down here. So we're going to hang this. We're gonna hang it. We're gonna go park the truck, get changed, and then we're gonna come back here and set up, and then we're gonna kill Hugh tonight when he comes out here. So we're jacked, we're excited, we're ready to get after it.
Surprise spot here for Hugh tonight. We got a good wind here, still southwest, blowing it right up into this thicket. Right when we were kind of getting all set and ready, the split G2 buck came out and didn't have a clue we were here, which is perfect. So what we're hoping is that 3 nights in a row now, Hugh's going to come out right down here at this corner. We pushed our set just north of that a little bit to try to avoid the swirling winds. So we're in here, we're concealed, we're really excited. If he comes down like he has the last 2 nights, we should be in the chips here and actually get a shot at him. So keeping our fingers crossed. I'm going to stay quiet and still. Well guys, it's about 10 till 4 and about worst case scenario, we were set up in our new set, banking on Hugh going to that spot for the 3rd night in a row. And I knew it wasn't good. I started hearing some farm machinery up front, and sure enough, they came on in there and started working that field. So I just told Matt, if we're gonna make a move, we need to hurry up into this set that we're in, kind of the one that we've seen him in. We know he's going to cross this field. I don't know if he will tonight now. This tractor is just down below us. not exactly quiet. So I don't know. We packed up as quick as we could and frickin' chugged through the timber up on top of this ridge, and now we're sitting on the edge of this bean field that, I mean, we know he's been traveling back and forth. I don't know, I'm sure you can hear that machine down there. So they work up only certain portions of that field when it's corn. So that pretty much, that new set we just hung, I think is going to be pretty worthless for the rest of the season. I guess we'll see, but just a gut punch, but you got to roll with it and, hope for the best, I guess. So we, at least he's still alive, we think right now. So hopefully we see him, and if he comes down in here tonight, it'll be a frickin' miracle, but we'll be waiting if he does. Well, it's 5 o'clock, and we saw a couple does and a real small buck work out of the big timber and push north. So we're just going to have to adapt, man. I mean, this is real life hunting, and this is Matt and I deal with a lot because we're off of permission a lot, and a little bit of a lease, is actually where we were at. But, we don't control the farmer, and he's got to do what he's got to do. So, man, I don't think you could have wrote it up any worse, if it wasn't Matt and I, I'd probably just think it was one of the most hilarious things I've ever seen or heard, but, we have to get over it, right? I mean, get over it, move on. I know he doesn't work that whole field, so generally what they'll do now, there's still a giant chunk of cut corn out there that those deer will still work to when it gets cold. It's just not as easy to hunt because there's just one big field with a couple tree lines between. So we'll see. I mean, we're going to get back, check what the Cuddy Link reports say, and try to figure out a different game plan for Hugh. I mean, he's still in the area. It's not like the farmer scared him away or anything like that. It's just, man, sucker, feel like a sucker punch when we were all jacked and got that new set hung. Thought we had somewhat of a pattern on him, and and then it all, floor drops out from under you. So we'll get back after him and keep our fingers crossed that we can still make it happen, and still got a lot of time left. So we'll kind of get over this one tonight and move on tomorrow.
Okay, it is the evening of November 9th. I slipped in tonight by myself in a box blind here off a little food plot we call Jimbo's Pocket. It's been a tough November so far. We've had a few opportunities. Aaron had a good opportunity the other morning at Hightower. We passed another beautiful 4-year-old 9-point. We call the Heavy 9 the other evening at 25 yards. Again, just trying to give him one more year. That's on the farm, the main farm here. But otherwise, we've been hunting hard for almost 10 days now, every day, and we haven't had really a chance at a mature shooter other than Hightower. So it's that time of year where, your year can go really slow and all of a sudden it can change overnight. So we're just going to keep hunting, keep running the cameras, looking for some new deer. But it's November 9th. Things are definitely starting to really get rocking here. The next few days should be pretty good. We're just hoping we get something new to possibly show up and chase. But tonight my main mission was really actually just to try to get some footage of the G3 buck if I can, and just have a good sit and watch some deer and enjoy the November evening. But should be a nice night. All right, so that ended up being actually a really neat sit tonight. I came in here to actually try to film the deer we call the G3 buck. And he did not show tonight, but I had a deer we call Super Freak. Absolute beautiful 3-year-old. I think he has got the makings of a 200-inch deer next year or the year after for sure, but he's got it all. But just an awesome deer. First time I've seen him on hoof, he looks way better in person than I thought he was even on the cuttybacks. But really cool encounter. He came in pretty fast, didn't get a lot of footage of him, but he walked within 10 yards of the blind here. And then about 5 minutes later, there was a small buck and the doe out in the field when he came through. He didn't pay any attention to them, but watched the 1.5-year actually mount and breed the doe right in front of me, about 50 yards in front. So it's just really strange that, that doe was obviously hot, and he, walked right by and didn't go check them out or didn't smell that estrus. It just kind of seemed odd, but she ended up bedding down right in the middle of this field, and that little 1.5-year ran off a couple other pretty nice bucks, and just kind of has been tending her. So they kind of fed off here, so I waited till dark to slip out of here. Looks like I've got a few deer I can just kind of see out in the clover yet, but hopefully this stand's set up right next to some standing corn, so should be able to slip down and walk out through the corn and not spook anything. But pretty neat evening. Seeing Super Freak was awesome, and then first time I've actually been able to film a doe being bred on camera, so that was kind of my first too. But fun sit, November 9th. Obviously, things are rocking. All right, so it's the evening of November 14th. We slept out in this little bottom tonight. Saw this morning that Hightower was actually about 100 yards from us at this blind in some standing corn. Looked like he was kind of pushing a doe, so he kind of disappeared the last few nights, and then we finally got a picture of him this morning, so I think he's been locked up with the does. That's kind of been the theme right now. Everybody we're talking to, the rut has really kind of slowed down. What's happened is I think these mature deer are pretty much locked up with hot does right now, so we're not seeing a whole lot of the big deer on their feet. Obviously, you got the little 1.5-years running around chasing does, but the big deer have kind of been quiet here lately, so we're on that phase where you just gotta, put your time in it. All that has to happen is those deer have to come off a hot doe and go look for another one, so they can pop through at any moment. Yeah, that's the wide 9. I mean, it definitely could have been. You got rubber boots on, don't you? Yeah, boy. May slip out at dark and go down the creek. Mine is drop in the creek and walk out. So we don't have to walk out the field. That is like if we got deer out the field or not. That's nuts. Back out just a little bit. Camera works on this phone. Yes, let's look at that screen. That's awesome. Okay, well, we had a pretty good sit tonight. Deer moved pretty good most of the evening. We had a real nice 4-year-old, what we call the heavy 9. We've had several encounters with him this year. He came through, worked a scrape right here at 10 yards, and just walked back and forth all night. We saw a really nice 2-year-old we call Potential. We saw a 3-year-old deer we call Wide 9. And then we got a glimpse of a new deer on the farm I've never seen before. I think he was a shooter. Kind of got me excited. Looked like a big 9-point. Looked like he had, oh man, I'd say 12, 13, maybe longer 2s and 3s. Just big frame on him. Came off the hillside. Was kind of stomping, chasing a doe, and we saw him run up the hill. He came back just for a second, and then we never did see him again. So he must have went up to the other food plot. But it was exciting to see a new deer show up on the farm. It's November 14th. It's the time that can occur, and like I said, he looked like a pretty good deer from what we saw of him. So I was hoping we'd get one more glimpse of him, but he didn't come back down into this food plot. But otherwise, it was a really fun evening, and we saw a lot of deer tonight, and we're gonna be back at it tomorrow morning. So all you gotta do is keep pushing.